Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Who are these people?
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Don't be rude.
Who are these people?
Who are these people? Let's see. Good. Welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. That means I'm Angel Rivera alongside Mrs.Witchy Perfect, and we got to review Clash of the Castle. Clash in Italy. That was that was way off there.
We were close.
That was the original pay-per-view they did like 3 years ago, because it was in Ireland or something. Which was main evented by Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, which Roman Reigns retained, of course. That was the original Bloodline push, and right. Roman wasn't going to lose, so that's when that happened. But yeah, Clash in Italy was last Sunday afternoon. I'm about to say Saturday because usually they are Saturday, but yeah, it was last Sunday afternoon. Let's see. And the show sucked, in a word.
Oh, wait till you have my ratings. Everyone's going to get my ratings, y'all.
Yep, so we'll talk about that and talk about what happened afterwards on the shows. Then we'll see what happens after that, because we got to burn some time here. So let's start off with there are 5 matches on this card. So the opening match was a singles match for the WWE title. Cody Rhodes beating Gunther by pinfall. So this was maybe by default the best match of the night, afternoon, whatever, but it still wasn't that impressive. It was like, well, the whole show was meh.
And the way the finish happened, I'm sorry, I didn't like this finish. Because his foot was under the ropes, and technically, if you want to be a rule specialist, Gunther got screwed. Basically, his foot was under the ropes, and the count should never happen. But I know a lot of people were kind of, they were like, "Oh, why would this happen?" This or that kind of thing. I don't know how to say it other than it. It was what it was, and there's no stopping it once it's going. I felt like it left a lot to be desired, but I'm guessing this is how they continue on the feud is now, well, Gunther can come out there and claim, and rightfully so, he can claim he got screwed because he did, So
there's another match.
And now they have another match. And if he's going to get this belt at all, I don't know. I don't know. I like Gunther. Well, I don't like Gunther. I like the way he wrestles because he's more old school wrestling. The more old school you are, the better I like you. But this was just, I gave it 2 stars. I'm sorry. I do like Cody, but I don't think this was some of Cody's best work. It left a lot to be.
And that seemed to be the issue throughout the night or afternoon. Most of these, the matches were like, they just threw in. They did whatever. They just did whatever. It didn't really matter because it was just. I'm not sure because of the fact they did a whole live event tour in Europe, so they worked every day, and these guys are not used to working every day, so they were probably gassed. This is why we got.
Like you said, they looked a little lethargic, and they kind of did. They looked like they were really tired. Nothing was going good for them. I think at one point I heard someone scream out, "Hey, throw me into the ropes" or something. I'm like, oh, come on, guys. And not, the only thing that this sort of, I think it did have it, but it's like they went out to the outside and, the tables again were used. And I'm like, get over the tables. Stop using the tables. Let's just have a down-to-earth old wrestling match. If anyone could do it, it would be Cody and Gunther. So I mean, there's more to come, I'm sure. But again, I mean, I think I heard someone calling spots. Maybe that was just me. I don't know. But okay, let's go. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. If Cody's going to go away for a little while, then yes, Gunther will become champion. If not, then I don't foresee Cody losing this belt. But this match, I'm sorry, just left a lot to be desired.
No, see, I don't see Cody dropping that belt unless he's supposed to be taking time off or going away to a movie or something. But
Yeah.
I've heard none of that, so most likely Gunther's going to do another job. Look like shit in the process because, you know, he's retiring all these guys, but he can't beat Cody, you know, so.
Well, and I wonder, I often wonder, because we're going to talk about him in a little bit. Brock Lesnar, I wonder if he said no to the Gunther retirement, you know.
He had to have, because it was obvious there after the Obafemi match, at the very least, set up a retirement match against Gunther at SummerSlam. But the SummerSlam's in Minnesota, which is Brock's hometown, so
right,
that would have been a perfect place for him to retire. But he might have turned down the match, or they're gonna do it anyways. But that makes no sense because he owes Obafemi a match. Because what happened later, we're gonna talk about it in a little bit, but
right,
because Obafemi cut a promo Raw basically saying it's 1-1. You owe me one, Brock. So whenever you come back, you know, I'm ready for you.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, okay, enough of Brock. Well, we're going to talk about it a little bit because I want to express my full feelings of this. But the Cody Gunther match, it was the best match on the card. Like I said, I gave it 2 stars. I probably will not give any other match more than that. Only because the rest of it just absolutely stank. I looked at my almost my husband, and I was just like, I can't believe this shit is actually on pay-per-view. Like, how is anyone able to like put up with this?
Most of this card didn't belong on pay-per-view. The only Brock and Oba, Cody and Gunther, Roman Reigns and Jacob, but the other 2 matches were kind of like this filler, you know, just to fill time pretty much. It felt like it at least.
Yeah, big time.
And it's sad because the next match was Rhea Ripley against Jade Cargill, a WrestleMania rematch for the women's title. Somehow this match went 7 minutes longer than the Cody Gunther match.
Right.
They gave this match nearly 20 minutes, which is ridiculous. Jade Cargill can't go 20 minutes.
And it looked like she was kind of, as you said, they kind of looked like they were lethargic. They were kind of out of gas. And, you know, here we go.
Yeah. It was not good. I mean,
I guess they just can't get over the fact that, you know, they worked all week. And this match was worse. And I know, like, okay, well, no one can follow Cody and Gunther. Nah, bullshit. If you're going to go out there and tell a story, tell a story. What story were they trying to tell? I have no idea because no one knows, except that, you know, Rhea Ripley needed to defend her title, you know, and have an honest, be an honest champion. I'm surprised they didn't have freaking Io Sky out there. They had Charlotte Flair, and of course they didn't have what's her name, Alexa Bliss. They didn't have her out there because apparently she went through the table because of these women, you know, in Jane Cargill's corner. But, you know, now they made this whole pseudo lesbian thing between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. So I mean, they're pushing. They take some of the women. Okay, so they pushed Rhea down the card a little bit to start with. They pushed her back down the card, and now she was with Io Sky. Huggy, kissy, whoopee. All right. The other part of this that I think sucked was the whole thing with Jane Cargill. I know they don't know what to do with her, but I mean, this is not the way to do it. Okay, this is not the way to go. I don't know what this was, but this absolutely sucked. And
they beat her clean with Rhea's finish, which is not right in the middle. So she just got beat, you know. So I don't know whether I don't know whether they don't have any real plans for her and they're done, or she's gonna do something else like challenge. I don't know, because over on Raw, Liv Morgan's a heel champion, and done nothing with her either. By the way, she didn't defend that title once since she won it from Stephanie. So she hasn't
Right.
at WrestleMania, I think it was. So, and it's been 2 months. She hasn't defended that title once. So, and now apparently we'll get to this a little later. Apparently, she's in the Queen of the Ring tournament for no reason, because the whole point of that tournament is to challenge for a world title. But she's already like women's world champion. So, what is she gonna do? She's gonna win, challenge Rhea Ripley for the women's title, and unite the belts. Like,
I mean,
again,
that's the way it's going, because I mean, I gave this negative 2 stars because it just really didn't fit. I think people were kind of just, whatever at it, they're just kind of like whatting it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like I know they're not called the Jade Cargill baddies or anything, but it's similar to what she used to do in
AEW.
Yeah.
She had her
AEW,
baddies,
so,
and they would interfere most of her matches, and that's how she kept winning. And she never did a job until right before she left. She did 2 jobs, then she left for WWE.
right.
Tony never did a job with her until right before she left. I was surprised at that too, because he bragged about how Sting never did a job in his 4 years in AEW, and I'm like, well, that's not a good thing. You didn't get anything out of him. You just paid him a bunch of money, put him over, and then he walked away. Like, he didn't put anybody over in that roster. I don't blame him. I wouldn't put anybody over in that roster either. But still, Tony, you're the promoter, and you gotta, like, stand up to him. Like, you gotta put one of my guys over before you leave, at least. MJF, at least put him over. He didn't even do that.
Right. And I mean, that's where I'm getting at, because it just seemed like it was, very, very stale. It didn't. I don't think it got over with the crowd, although the Italy crowd was trying. Yeah, they were trying to, I think, get their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, they were trying to get
like the French over. Were up for everything.
Yeah, they were trying to get themselves over more than anything.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think they were into this match really.
Yeah,
like they were hot for everything, but they really weren't. There's no way they could have been. This match was just a drag. All right, so now we get to the next match. Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman defeating Obafemi by pinfall in 6 minutes and 21 seconds. Thank God this match didn't go 15, because that would have been brutal to watch. Especially with Brock, he can't really go anymore. He's more of a 3 to 5 minute type of guy, maybe if you're lucky.
Right. Well, but look at how many F5s it took to put this guy down, right?
7.
So they literally had to do 7 F5s for Oba to even look vulnerable. But the fact that they literally made Obafemi look like a bitch, I don't think they don't trust Oba, and I think they are done with him. I hate to say that, because Oba is like a sensation, and he's a monster, and he looks a wrestling type. But I mean, I just think, they did the same thing with Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross was over, but I think they just are done with him. I don't see anything going anything farther. Unless prove me wrong. I hope they prove me wrong. But I just, this whole match, I just didn't like it. They had to put him through a table. He had to F5 him through a table.
He looked strong in defeat. That was really the best thing that you could say about this match.
But they beat him clean. Don't beat him clean. I would expected like Paul Heyman to like cause a disqualification or something, or a count out or something, or have Brock just knock him out somehow with a steel pipe or something. Anything to make him look. But in defeat, he may have looked strong, but I still think they made him look very weak. Because they should not have beat him clean. No way. Well,
it sets up. First of all, I think they wanted to beat him now. So just think, once they start pushing him, make him the champion, not have to worry about, oh my God, an undefeated streak. Just beat him now. Get it over with, not have to worry about that. So just beat him for that reason. They didn't want to have a long undefeated streak to worry about. How are we going to book this undefeated streak? He needs a champion too, assuming he gets the belt. So it's going to be very difficult to take the belts off him then. So it's like, let's just beat him now. That's what it seemed like they were doing as well.
I wouldn't have beat him clean though. I mean, that didn't make any sense to me. And I gave this 1 star because it was just, I hated it. I hated the fact that they made Oba look weak. If you wanted to make the fans lose interest in him, this was the best way to lose interest in him. I think again, he is over, and I'm glad he's over. A lot of people are saying he's the new Goldberg 2.0, and don't insult Obafemi like that.
That's why they beat him, because they didn't want another Goldberg on their hands, so they just like beat him. But like you said, you could have beaten him by disqualification or by referee stoppage. Brock is an MMA guy. Just keep punching him until the referee stops it, and that way, Brock was furious that Obafemi humiliated him at Mania, have him win by knockout or referee stoppage, whatever, and then go to the third match, and Oba beats him by pinfall again, and Brock goes away, either retires or I don't know when he's intending on retiring soon or what, because he already retired once already. So
yeah, I think that was just bullshit. And that's the thing. I mean, now they've made retirement such a mockery. Oh, that person's going to retire. Yeah, okay. They'll be back next week. It seems like that. It's literally like they are taking all the wrestlers who retired and just kind of like laughing in their face. Oh, yeah, okay. It's just like a big laugh about now. And like I said, that's why I hated this match. They had to use, again, the going through the tables, the announce tables. Didn't like it. I hated it. I was just like, Oba's going to beat the count. I knew that. Maybe he didn't. I thought, well, maybe they're going to beat him by count out. And I agree with Jim Cornette. Yeah, that would have been better than beating him clean, because, again, you made him look like a fucking pussy now. And it's like, stop doing that. If you want Oba to be over, then put him over the right way. This having him, Brock beating him clean was just utter crap. I hated it.
It was lazy.
I hated every
part. It was lazy. It was very lazy. It was lazy.
Jim Cornette was talking about this on his show, what they would have liked to have seen, and I think I was talking to you about this a little bit, is let's have Paul Heyman turn on Brock Lesnar. Wouldn't that be so much better? I mean, he and Paul Heyman are like, they have been together since Brock came in, right? So Brock Lesnar came in.
2001-ish.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, he has been with Brock since the beginning. So Paul Heyman has always been with Brock. Have Paul Heyman turn on Brock Lesnar and join Obafemi. Maybe bring Oba into the Vision, or don't. Oba is kind of his own thing.
The Vision is desperate for like bodies. Everybody's hurt. Logan Paul got hurt. He tore his triceps. Now
Bronson Reed is still hurt. I mean,
he's hurt.
Are needing people at this time. Why didn't you bring Obafemi into the fold? I don't get that.
Well,
unless they're building up to that at SummerSlam.
Maybe Paul Lee does turn on Brock in this last match at SummerSlam, because maybe that's going to be the big twist and make Obafemi like $1 million while beating Brock one last time. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that would be what's what I'm looking for. That would be not lazy, but like WWE formulaic booking. You know they want to do a 3-match series, so Oba's going to get beat here, but they had to find a better way to beat him. Maybe by count out. I mean, that probably been the best way to do it.
Instead of having him at like 8 or 9, just jump up, and jump into the ring. He's
about to come into the ring, kind of struggling, and then eventually he just falls, and referee counts 10, and that's it. But you can show a little bit of vulnerability, but at the same time, not get beat, not get pinned clean when brought in the middle. So he goes down, that's a 10, that's it. Brock wins. Brock acts like he pinned him, as a heel would. Paul Heyman said, we beat you. And Oba said by count out, it makes him look strong, in defeat, even stronger than what he did and getting beat clean by pinfall.
Absolutely. So, yeah. This just kind of went, you just went, at it.
If I had to beat Obafemi, because let's say I'm the booker and the promoter said, you got to beat Obafemi, I want a 3-match series. It's like, fuck, I got to beat him. Okay, do it by count out. Right.
Or disqualification, or have someone run in, to help Brock out, like from the Vision or something. Or Paul Heyman himself. Have Paul Heyman try to get in Obafemi's face and cause a disqualification or something. whatever you need to do. But this beating him clean, it literally fell flat. I think the fans just kind of farted at it, as June Cornette would say. I know the U.S. fans were not very happy about it, and I can say I wasn't very happy about it because
the Italians fought for anything.
Yeah, I mean the Italian people were just kind of like, "Yay, they came to Italy,"
That's why I hate the European pay-per-views. I mean, it one in France was just awful. I think we reviewed it at the time, and I said it was so loud that I could barely hear the commentators. It was ridiculous.
Right.
The Italian fans weren't that bad, but you can, as a booker, promoter, or whatever, you cannot get a good feel who's over and who isn't over because they pop for everything.
Right.
Like, okay, then I can't tell who's over and who isn't over.
Right. They're just literally happy that WWE actually graced them with their presence.
Yeah, exactly.
With, their presence.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're so happy about that. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, if I were European guys, hey, you're coming to where? Oh, that's great. Because they rarely go to Italy. They rarely go to France. They rarely go to the UK. But they're going to be in Saudi Arabia every other pay-per-view, it seems.
Yeah, next month. This month is Night of Champions, and they're holding the King and Queen of the Ring finals. So, at that show. So yeah, they're going back to Saudi Arabia in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, all right. So that match, what was the next match? I didn't pay attention to, but it was on the card. Sol Ruca defeating Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental.
I only paid attention. Well, actually, I was in. What was I in the bathroom or something? And then I had to. I don't remember. I was with my son or something.
Yeah, you said you were doing something.
Yeah, so I paid attention to the last few seconds, and Sol Ruca wins. -2 stars because I hated it. First of all, I didn't even pay much attention to it. From what I've seen, I don't like it.
Yeah,
I hated it. It made no sense to me to take the belt off and give it to a gymnast.
Sol Ruca is still green as grass. Like what is this? I mean, it's like they brought up all these NXT talents. They're all pretty green still. They're not ready. And Sol Ruca is a primary example of this. I mean, she's a great athlete and a gymnast or whatever you want to call it. But
yeah, she was a gymnast.
Not a pro wrestler.
Yeah, you're not a pro wrestler. You're just a gymnast.
In fact, what was funny, she admitted to this right before graduating college. WWE kind of reached out to her, like, "Hey, do you want to do a tryout?" And it's like, apparently she either never heard of WWE or never knew what pro wrestling actually was because all she did was be a gymnast most of her life. She had no clue. So she admitted she had no clue barely what the WWE was.
Right. I mean, and
she took a job with them.
That's what I'm saying. Like they get all these people who they're not wrestling fans. They never heard of wrestling. They never watched wrestling. Athletes. They never liked it.
Athletes. Yeah, coming out of college.
They're just pure athletes. And I mean, it's getting to the point where like literally anyone could do it. WCW proved that fucking actors can be wrestlers. So, why not go that route? At this point, that's what I'm expecting. They're going to have someone, probably one of these rappers or whatever, just come in and kick Cody in the balls, and that'll be it. They'll just be champion. So, I mean, it's getting to this point where I can barely watch it. And like I said, I'm no Becky Lynch fan, but I actually felt bad for Becky Lynch at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, to literally say, well, we're going to put the belt on Sol Ruca, even though the Intercontinental Women's belt means absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah, it means nothing.
It's literally been beneath Becky to even have this damn belt when she was the women's champion several times. So -2 stars. I can't do it, guys. I just can't do it.
I can't imagine like she was thinking, I got to put over this stiff. It's like she's probably stiff as hell too. She's green as grass, I mean.
Well, not only that, she screws up her soul. What is it? Soul crusher or soul
snatcher finish? Yeah. It's brutal.
She screws it up every time. Like every time I've seen her try to do it, she falls or she doesn't get upright or
I don't know why.
Something's wrong.
Because she used to do it in NXT fine every single. It was like it's a ridiculous finish, but at least she doesn't botch it. Now all of a sudden she's botching it every week. So I don't know. Right. Whether she's like nervous because she's in the main roster instead of NXT, or whether the rings can't be different. The rings are the same, so it's not that. So I just don't know why she's fucking up this move so much when it used to be her like go-to move because she used to nail it all the time.
Absolutely.
Unless the main roster girls don't know how to take it, and they're the ones botching it. I don't know because they've so yeah, it's just not good. All right, so the next match was really
Hi, whoever that was.
it was really lethargic, really just meh. Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu in tribal combat in the position of tribal chief of the Anawahi family. So
And like I said,
this was not good. I mean, I don't understand. They looked lethargic. They looked tired. They looked like they didn't want to be there, either guys. So it's like it was just a brutal main event to sit through. And it's a Roman Reigns match. Usually his matches are really good. Or at least entertaining. This wasn't even entertaining. It was just brutal.
well, and
It
not
was
only
bad.
that, but like again, you said I was right, and I was right, and I hate being right because I would rather not be right about any of this. But they again, because we saw on the next night of Raw, he bowed down to Roman and became Roman's lackey. So here we go with the whole bullcrap of pushing Jacob Fatu right back down the card because I think this is a TKO move. Okay. They don't like Jacob Fatu. They don't like old wrestling. They don't care about it. They don't know about it. They're just taking money from WWE to put in their lost cause, UFC. UFC sucks. It's been losing money ever since. Everybody hates UFC anyway. So, I mean, why not, make WWE shitty?
Yeah, the problem is with the UFC, there's no real stars anymore. And the stars that did have, they let go. So they fired him because they wanted more money, aka Francis Ngannou, who's a world champion, a heavyweight champion. He left because of a difference with Dana White over money, because he wanted more money, and the UFC refused to pay him more money, so he fucked off to other companies and doing some boxing now too. So he was their top star. I mean, he was the one, Francis Ngannou, on the fucking main event card. That was drawing money. So he was drawing money at that point. So now the UFC has to do gimmick shit like going to the White House in order to draw. So
and
they're
that's
doing that show next Saturday.
Right, and that's what I mean. Because I think isn't it Trump's birthday or something too?
Yeah, I think Trump's 79th birthday. I think in March. Yeah. I mean June 13th. So
this is all professional wrestling, and here we go. With the bullshit. On the White House lawn. I give this 1 star because of Jacob Fatu. I actually felt better for him. And again, they beat him clean again and made him look weak. They've already tamed the werewolf, so they might as well just have him in the damn Bloodline 2.0 because they literally beat him clean again and made him look fucking weak. And again, I hate to be right, but they're going to push him right back down the card. He's not going to be in main events. So here we are. Same old never-ending story.
Here's the thing: in the original Bloodline angle, I enjoyed quite a bit, and brought me back to wrestling full time again because I barely watch. But they're gonna do the same thing again. They're gonna go back to the well in the Bloodline again. Like it's over.
Another 40 years of Roman. Here we go.
Cody beat him for the belt. That was the end of the Bloodline. Like that was it. Like why are we going back to the well again? It's like when they went back to the well on. It was the Shield with Roman Reigns too. I mean, they broke up, and then a few years later, 2 years later, they came back and became the Shield again. It was Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose, aka John Moxley. So they brought that back again. They're going back to the well in the Bloodline. It's like, I'm tired of it, honestly. And I enjoyed the original angle from 4 years ago.
Well, but they're trying to start this with Solo Sikoa because everyone forgot about that because those MVPs or EVPs or whatever the hell he's calling them. MTVs
MFT,
or something.
MFT.
I don't know. Yeah.
MFTs, yeah.
MFTs, yeah. So some of them MFTs got kicked to the curb. The only ones that are still there are Tongaloa or something.
Tamatonga and Tongaloa. Tongaloa is like the 7-footer.
Yeah, Tongaloa and Tamatonga. Yeah. So those are the only two with Solo Sikoa at this time. And now they're trying to hint at, we're going to do Solo's Bloodline versus Romans again. Oh, stop with that, okay?
They did
we
that.
Don't want to fucking see that.
Yeah, we already seen Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns feud. So
yeah, and it stuck then.
Yeah,
I mean, it really sucked. No one liked it. Everyone hated Solo Sikoa versus, Roman Reigns. We want to see Jacob Fatu, and we want to see Jacob get it all. But apparently that's not in the cards because I guess Jacob is not TKO's boy.
You know what would have been a interesting booking? Like not interesting, but shocking. I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but surprising booking. Let's say surprise. Jacob Fatu wins the belt, becomes tribal chief, and Roman has to serve him.
Right.
That would have been an interesting story. That would have been the reverse and interesting story. So the Usos and Roman have to serve Jacob being the world champion and the new tribal chief.
Right.
So
and
that would have been an interesting story.
That would have been an interesting story. And I would have came to you and said, oh, I give this, 3 stars. It was great. Yeah. They beat Roman clean again. But here we go. Is a never-ending story of, well, Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns, so we have to bow down and kiss his ass and suck his dick. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. I don't like Roman Reigns. I never liked Roman Reigns. So, unfortunately, we're going to have another 4 years of Roman Reigns, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that would have been interesting, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I don't know how, as a booker, you approach Roman Reigns, your top guy, with that idea. He's probably going to shit on it or do the whole, he's probably going to shit all over it. Hold on, let me try to find this. And do the whole deal, and Roman doesn't do this normally, but I'm sure if you would have came to him to that, he would have been the whole.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah, well, sorry, Roman, either like it or get out. Because at this point, the fans are getting tired of you. Okay, so you took the belt from CM Punk. CM Punk hasn't been seen around for a while. It's time for, vacation. Okay.
He took time off.
So, again, now we're with the stupid Bloodline 2.0 where, the two brothers who can't, Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso, have to bow down to the Roman Reigns that literally Jey Uso got away from the first time. So now they have to kiss his feet? I mean, come on.
This whole doesn't make any sense because Jey Uso, the whole point of the ending of that Bloodline angle was to separate Jey from Roman and make him into main event Jey Uso, which they put the belt on him. It was a disaster, honestly. He had terrible matches as champion, and he just never, his cardio sucked to the point. You remember that match he had with Punk, like when Punk beat him for the world title? I mean, he was frustrated at one point. He threw water on him. It was like, come on, dude, like fucking. Skedaddle. You're the main event for the world title. You're not gonna die out there.
Yeah, right. So I mean, here we go again with the whole and I didn't even watch Raw because I was just so disgusted with Clash in Italy. I was just like, I'm not watching this whole thing of Jacob having to kiss Roman's ass.
Which ended up happening.
I didn't want to see it, which exactly is what ended up happening, and I hate it.
They opened the show. Roman Reigns came to the ring with the Usos. Jacob came out with his own music, came to the ring. Eventually, I think he said he acknowledged Roman, and then he did the whole Bloodline, we're the number ones thing, and that ended the segment. And Jacob's now part of the Bloodline, apparently 2.0. So, I mean, what is Paul Heyman going to rejoin the Bloodline again? Like, let's just get the whole crew together at this point.
I mean, isn't he battling, injuries in the vision? I mean, it would make more sense, and I wouldn't doubt it for a second.
We might as well ditch the vision at this point and rejoin the Bloodline. And I'm sure Roman will let him back in because, ultimately, he doesn't need his wise men, but he would like to have him around. I'm sure, his character, assuming that Paul ever came back to him kind of contrite and begging for his rollback. So, so Jacob's part of the Bloodline. I don't know who's Roman's next opponent for the world title because the feud with Jacob's over because he's in the Bloodline now. So who's gonna step up to Roman next? What, LA Knight? They're gonna beat him again? Like, you might as well. That's a repeat of the excuse me, of the first one, the first original Bloodline. They just beat LA Knight to powder.
Right.
So
I mean, at this point, it's kind of a joke. LA Knight's gonna just lose again.
Yeah.
Because they won't pull the trigger on him either, so to speak.
No.
So at this point, WWE is making me lose interest. I don't even watch SmackDown. I don't watch Raw anymore. One, because I'm not paying for Netflix, and two, well, I can watch it on the YouTube channel. I can watch the highlights. But I even
that's what
refuse
I
to watch
do.
the highlights. I mean, it's that bad. It's like
That's
I'm
what
not
I
interested.
do.
Make me
It's just
interested, but these pay-per-views get steadily and steadily worse. And my star ratings, and literally they
a
have
lot.
1 star. That's what
A
they ended
lot
up
of
with.
that. Some of it is on ESPN because ESPN insisting on running almost 10-minute ads between matches,
Yes, that was the
and
other
you're
thing.
already and you already pay $30 a month for that. I don't pay for it because
Yeah, I
it's on
don't pay
our
for it
cable bill.
either.
It's on our cable bill. So, but
It's
and
on
you're
our
and
cables.
yeah, or internet bill, whatever it is. It's on our bill, so it's already included. That's why I watch it. If we're up to me, I would try to watch it free on these websites in order to sit, and there's no way I would pay for it. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's if ESPN insists on like 5 to 10 minutes of commercials in between matches. So not only paying $30 a month, but you got to sit through a bunch of these shitty commercials too
Right.
in order to see the next match, which is probably going to suck. So I mean, it was a slog to sit through. It's like the jokes on me, or quite frankly, the jokes on us. It's
Yeah, I
like
mean,
the jokes on
literally,
us.
they're laughing at us. Really, TKO doesn't care. They don't care about you, little peons. They only care about the people that can afford that $30 a month, and they're hoping that. See, the thing is, I heard through the grapevine, or I heard a rumor that they're not making bank on those 30. The $30 a month. People are not signing up. Not as many people as they needed or wanted
E-
to get bank back.
ESPN is paying WWE what a couple few hundred million a year for the
Yeah,
rights to the PLEs, and
yeah.
the subscriber numbers are not what they expected. I mean,
No,
quite
in fact, they're
frankly,
losing money over that.
ESP. So it was originally on Peacock for years, and so ESPN came in with this ridiculous over the top offer of like billions. I mean, total, not per year, but total.
Billions and billions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was. So I'm like, oh great, they're moving to ESPN. This is gonna suck because ESPN, for the most part, ESPN broadcasts are terrible.
Yeah.
Like the commentators are meh. They don't care. It's like, but luckily WWE uses their own commentators. Michael Cole is passable these days, but yeah, there are times where he's over the top too. So not good. Pay-per-view sucked. The next one is Night of Champions, where the
Mhm.
King and Queen of the Ring tournament, well, their finals at least, going to take place on that show, alongside probably every title being defended, and the champions retaining because it's a B pay-per-view nobody cares about, except for the Saudis because they're excited about that. They're coming there, so
Yeah. Oh, the Saudis are so happy about that.
yeah, they're paying they're paying $100 million for pay-per-view. I think WWE does out there, so. And the Saudis pay all the expenses, including the stage and the fireworks. All they got to do is come out and do the show. So WWE benefits WWE massively. So the Queen and King of the Ring tournaments, the qualifying matches started on Raw this past Monday, continued on SmackDown. So the first qualifying match, or not match, but fatal four way actually. So lazy, Obafemi, Solo Sokoa, Penta, and somebody else. Who's the
Well,
somebody else? Oh, Carmelo Hayes.
what they've done with Obafemi, they're not going to make him King of the Ring.
Well, he crushed everybody on his way to advancing to the next round. So I don't know what their intentions are with him, but he won for now, so he's advanced to the next round.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. It's a good start.
And on the same show, Roman Reigns basically told Jey Uso, "You've held this belt, which is the world title Roman's had, but you never held the WWE title. So I want you to enter the King of the Ring tournament and win it, and challenge Cody for the WWE title and bring it to the Bloodline." So it's like, oh, okay. So that tells me that Jay's probably winning the King of the Ring then. I hope not. I hope Oba gets it, but Jay, it probably tells me Jay's winning King of the Ring and challenge Cody. Oh my God, they put this belt on Jey Uso. I'm gonna be furious.
I mean, why not? They put the other belt on him.
Yeah, but there's no way he should be beating Cody unless there's a shit ton of interference in the Bloodline. And even then, that basically tells me they're heel again, even though it's supposed to be a babyface Bloodline now.
I don't know. I just have a feeling that this is just another boring 4 years of the bloodline, and you know, I hate to admit it, but another 4 years of Roman Reigns. Here we go down the rabbit hole.
They're just going back to the well, because the bloodline storyline is what made TKO buy WWE for Vince, because
Right.
it was so over, it was so hot that they thought, because Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro are not wrestling fans, they don't know how this shit works.
Right.
Eventually, they should have been told, and Vince is an old promoter / worker. So he's not going to tell them, "Oh, hey, pal, eventually business is going to dry up and it's going to be a cold period. You're not going to like it." No, he wanted them to buy WWE for $9 billion, which is what TKO paid also.
Right.
Vince wanted the money. He didn't give. That's their problem, not my problem anymore. So, because as you know, when there's when there's a hot period in wrestling, eventually when it runs out, it just does that. It just collapses business. So, and it takes a while to heat back up again. So,
right.
But what's not going to heat it back up is repeating the storyline from the bloodline from 3 years ago.
No, I mean, that went stale for a reason. Now it's time to move on. I don't know why Roman Reigns wanted to get the bloodline back together in the first place. Let's just have Roman Reigns as Roman Reigns and have him go away, because I'm getting real tired of him, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought it seemed like he had one foot out the door anyways, because he's
right.
doing a bunch of movies.
Hollywood, right? Yeah.
Yeah. He's in the Street Fighter film, so is Cody. And he's done at least 2 or 3 other films in the last year, so I thought he was kind of on his way out.
It took me a while to figure out where Cody was in that movie. I'm like, oh shit, he's a bartender. Okay.
Yeah, he's the one with the No, you're confusing that with Naked Gun. Cody had a cameo.
Oh, right. He was a bartender.
Which is the bartender.
He's the guy with the blonde spiky hair, right?
Yeah, the Street Fighter movies, the blonde spiky hair character. Yeah, so he has a bigger role in that film. That character is pretty important in the Street Fighter story.
I wonder if he makes that noise. Doesn't that guy throw a fireball and make a noise?
Yeah.
Like,
he throws a fireball. I remember that. So he's in that movie. He's done other movies, Roman Reigns. So it seems like he's recommitted back to WWE, which I didn't expect that. I thought he'd be one foot out the door and never be champion again. He had a 4.5-year title run. It wasn't like I thought he'd be tired of being champion. Unless Roman is like Hogan, turning into Hogan, he always had to be the champion.
I mean, if the shoe fits. Hey, CBC, by the way.
Yeah, it's like, unless he's not getting the belts, it's like
that doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah, I mean, literally, Reigns has become Hogan, and he's gonna play that backstage. I mean, look at how he was talking when he came back into the WWF or WWE. Sorry, WWE. It was WWF in my day. Okay,
yeah,
we tell our grandkids that. But when he came back into WWE, he made little tit for tat kind of thing. Oh well, they need me, and I give them ratings. Yeah, maybe that was true 4 years ago, but this is now, and now you look like shit. You make the product look like shit.
Yeah, it's like his character hasn't really evolved. It's like he's the same tribal chief Roman Reigns when he first turned heel.
Become Roman Reigns something else. The fans are going to cheer you because you're over. But remember, back in the day, like 10 years ago, they weren't cheering him. He was booed out of the bit, and he was a baby face.
Yeah.
And they still told him to go home.
Yeah, that was on Vince. Vince insisted him being a John Cena type of baby face, and the fans rejected it.
Yeah, they told him to go home.
Rejected it to the point where it was just brutal. So I felt bad for him, having forced to be John Cena 2.0 every week. It was terrible.
Well, and I do feel for Roman Reigns when he came out there and said, my name is Joe, and I had cancer. I mean, I went, what? Okay,
That's why he had to retire from the NFL, because they found he had leukemia during the workup that they do when training camp starts, the physical. So that's when they found out he had leukemia, and they forced him to retire, basically, because those medications are brutal on your body, so they tire you out, and your immune system is not as good, so which is why they forced him into retirement. That's even before he started his NFL career, which didn't last long. So he got into WWE, became eventually became successful. It was years. It wasn't really over because Vince insisted on him being a white meat babyface John Cena 2.0. It
Right.
wasn't going to work because it barely worked for Cena. Cena's booed out of the building too most nights, but he made it work. But it wasn't. It takes a very special talent to make that work, even though you booed out of the building and being a
Right.
top babyface. Cena
Right.
pulled it off. So, but yeah, I mean that was Clash in Italy. It sucked. It's another international pay per view coming in Saudi Arabia. So are these guys going to stay in Europe and then fly out to Saudi Arabia? That makes more sense than force him to fly back to the U.S., work some shows, and then fly all the way back to Saudi Arabia. I
Right.
mean, if you imagine they were lethargic for this show, wait until you see that. They forced them to fly back to the U.S. and then
Yeah.
fly back to Saudi Arabia. They're going to be very lethargic, very out of it, these guys and girls. So the qualifying match for King of the Ring, Liv Morgan is in this thing, even though she's champion already. So not interesting. I don't remember who the other girls in the tournament. I don't care a little bit about the Queen of the Ring tournament. It's just more of a equality of the sexist type thing where if you don't have a Queen of the Ring tournament, you're sexist. So WWE wants to avoid that, so they created a Queen of the Ring tournament.
I mean, why even have a Queen of the Ring if Liv Morgan is going to have to, qualify for it? She's already the champion, isn't she?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
people-
this is just a slap in the face.
Yeah, it's like lazy because they don't know what to do with her because the whole point was her feud with Stephanie was going to continue. Unfortunately, Stephanie's hurt, so she can't continue that feud.
Right.
Instead of having a plan B, she's just sitting around doing nothing. She's a champion.
Yeah.
Don't you have another girl for her? I don't know.
Maybe turn Roxanne Perez, but I don't think they want to do that.
Well,
She's not very good either, but she sort of found an identity with the what's left of the Judgment Day.
Yeah, she's found some sort of identity because before that, we were saying that she's had one foot out the door. TKO is probably ready to fire her in the next releases. So now she's found some sort of niche, where she can be kind of over and kind of, get a reaction and do something. So the issue is she keeps losing. And the story is Liv Morgan is kind of laughing at her behind her back. So eventually you're going to see that turn, but I don't know how quickly they're going to pull the trigger on that because unless they get
either that
desperate
or Rochelle, as Burnett called her. I could see
Yeah.
that turn too. I mean, they kind of hinted that at the Royal Rumble. Well, the girls' Royal Rumble.
and
Rochelle turned on her. Yeah.
It
It's
never
kind of
went
like,
anywhere.
you pushed me out. She's like, we're on the same team. And she's trying to give her excuses. I was like, no, you did it on purpose. Shut up.
Which they seem to be building towards a turn, but it never happened. And it seems like Raquel has forgotten about it, and now she's besties with Liv Morgan again.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Because Liv Morgan cost her spot at the Rumble, for the women's title. And I get it. Liv Morgan is the star. They like her. She's attractive. I could tell if she's going to get this belt because she did that music video right before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like,
and she was doing it at WrestleMania too.
Yeah, that's why.
The whole
I
thing,
knew they
the lip
would.
syncing was off.
Yeah, it was awful. Her performance, that song, but she performed it live. It was just awful. Even the music video wasn't good. It was just a standard auto tune, that they do these days. Like everybody sounds the same these days, so it's not like you're gonna get Stevie Wonder or Michael Jackson. Everybody sounds different, it's like unique.
Right.
No, everybody sounds the same with that auto tune these days. And now they use AI, I'm sure, to clean up their voices. So now it's gonna look even more the same, sound more the same. So
right.
Hell, you can make me into a Grammy-winning singer, I'm sure, with AI and auto tune. So it's like,
well, I
singing
mean,
is
I
not really a
can sing,
talent.
so I don't know if they can clean up my voice. I don't think I want them to, but I mean, I'm a good lyrics maker.
Yeah.
I can make lyrics. I do that with my man. We like to write songs for each other, and then I put like AI stuff to it because I don't have a band that follows me around. But. But anyway, yeah, you're right. I mean, they can just make anybody sound like a, award-winning singer, and I wouldn't want them to do that to me. I'd be like, no, you just accept from my voice how it is, right? And I've been told it's very good, so, hey, what the hell? But
so
now that we reviewed that, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, just real quick. I watched the AAA Noche de los Grandes show on
Right,
YouTube.
right. Yes, we have to talk about that. The match or the mask versus mask
Yeah,
match.
I saw Jim Cornette's review on it. It took him nearly like 40 minutes to review that match. I mean, he took his time. But real quick, I'll get so the opening match, they did their whole Mexican thing, the anthem, and there was Rey Mysterio's a general manager, by the way. They named him general manager. So Undertaker is booking AAA, by the way. So just an
And they
interesting
made Rey
side note.
Mysterio general manager. Does he ever wrestle
Yeah.
anymore? Or is he just kind of done?
Well, he wrestled on Raw last week or this past week,
Okay.
so he's
Well,
still kind of
and there's that.
hanging around. But yeah, so the first match was Rey Fenix defeating the Laredo Kid to become the World Cruiserweight Champion. This was what it was. It was a Mexican lucha libre match. It went all over the place. So I could barely keep up with it, honestly. The finish was Laredo Kid tried to hit a low blow on Rey Fenix. He blocked it. Then Rey Fenix hit his finish or something. It was 1, 2, 3, and he became the champion and ended Laredo Kid's 512-day reign as Cruiserweight Champion. So it was what it was. All right, the next match, real quick, was for the AAA Latin American Championship. You have El Hijo de Vikingo defeating El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. by pinfall. So those are mouthfuls, by the way, both names.
Sorry, was that a good thing or a bad thing, or did you like it?
The names are really long, and they're basically it's the son of Vikingo versus the son of Dr. Wagner Jr., if you want to say it in English. So this match was what it was. Vikingo's now heel, so he needed help to defeat Dr. Wagner Jr. by Omos. Omos is down there in Mexico and his bodyguard, basically. And Omos eventually punched.
What does Omos mean in English?
I don't know.
Is there an English word for it?
And no, it's
That's
Omos.
okay.
It's Omos. You've seen him before. He's almost. Jim Cornette used to call him almost.
Almost.
Yeah, so he's almost ready, but he wasn't really ready. Eventually, the finish was Omos punched Dr. Wagner Jr. in the face, knocked him out. Vikingo hit his finish with a 1, 2, 3, and now he's a new
You were going
Latin
to say they
American
punched
champion.
him in the groin and.
No, he punched him in the face, like knocked him out. Eventually, there was interference from both sides, which is a theme of the night, honestly, especially with the main event. So El Hijo de Vikingo is a Latin American champion. It was what it was. Another lucha libre match. They went through tables. But I didn't think, it wasn't announced as no DQ. So
They even got to do the lucha libre into the.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was what it was. Mexican lucha libre. The next match.
But they had to use tables. I mean, lucha libre used to be just the kicking and the punching and the fast up and down and the aerial moves and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, it never had any tables.
Yeah. So Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and Psicosis and Juventud Guerrera, they kind of modernized and revolutionized lucha libre, and now these guys have taken it, kind of bastardized it. So with tables and stuff and different type of So the next match was for the AAA World Tag Team title. The War Raiders, Eric and Ivar, defeating Pagano and Psycho Clown by pinfall. So the War Raiders
were to the War Raiders. They used to be on Raw, but now they got pushed to AAA.
Yeah, they basically got sent to Mexico because they got nothing for him. Triple H was like, I got nothing for these guys. They just sent him down to Mexico before we fire him. So let's just. So that's why they've been gone from TV. They're down there in AAA, and now they're World Tag Team title. After the match, Pagano turned on Psycho Clown, and the War Raiders beat the crap out of him and left him laying, and his former partner walked away. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I haven't really been watching the main show they do every week. It's on YouTube. It's like an hour long, but I got to watch this show because it's probably the best thing WWE has going right now, and I never watch it, so I end up forgetting. So the main event went 33 minutes and 22 seconds. It had El Grande Americano, Ludwig Kaiser, defeating the original Grande Americano, Chad Gable,
was
by
it Ludwig
pinfall.
Kaiser or was it a stand-in? Because he, was he allowed to leave Florida then?
No, it was really him. He left Florida. It wasn't
Okay.
somebody else. I know. We know. I was confused for a second, so I forgot he got arrested. So it's
Yeah.
like, no, he's good.
But he defended his girlfriend, and that's what you want
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
because that
yeah,
asshole literally said, "Oh, you should have ice guard on you." You know what, guys?
yeah.
I if you have to say that, then you're the problem. And honestly, if like I was Latina like her, and my man heard him say that, my man would have probably beaten the snot out of him so bad he probably would have sent him to 6 feet under.
Yeah,
So
it
this guy is
wasn't.
lucky that Ludwig Kaiser didn't put him 6 feet under.
So it was no disqualification. Lucha de apuestas, máscara contra máscara. So it was a bet, mask versus mask, and the way it works in Mexico is if you lose and unmask, you have to tell the fans in the world basically all your information, your full name, your birth date, where you were born. So basically, you have to. That's the stipulation too of a mask
Jesus,
versus
they have to
mask
give
match.
their social security numbers too. Jesus.
Not that far, but they have to basically give you your full name, your birth date, and where you were born, and basically tell the fans who you really are. So
Well,
not only you
that
lose a
we all
mask,
found out it was Chad Gable because we all knew it
yeah,
was Chad Gable.
yeah, yeah, it looked just like him. It was a nice. We'll get to the ending, but the match itself was your standard lucha libre match. It wasn't good the actual match itself, but the reason why to me it was good because the passion and the intensity of that audience, they really bought into this angle, and it made me buy into it. Watching the match is like I was excited for it. I knew that Kaiser character probably would win, but I was into it because the crowd was into it, and it wasn't like that bullshit way in Italy where they were cheering for everything. No, no,
Right.
they for the I think it was for the War Raiders match. They really didn't give a shit. They just sat on their hands pretty much for that match. They were looking forward to the main event. So it was more like sit on my hands, just wait for the match we all want to see, and no reaction. So I could tell this was legitimate. They're really behind in Grande Americano, the Kaiser character. They're really behind that character. My
Yeah,
man,
he's doing real good.
he speaks fluent Spanish, which is why he could connect with the Mexican crowd in a way that Chad Gable could never do, as the
Right.
original. So yeah, eventually, that's why I made the match so really good to me because the genuine connection and passion that audience had for that match. The issue was there was interference in stages. It seemed like there was interference at the beginning. Then we had a fight between the lackeys of each Grande Americano for no reason. The match just stopped, and all four of those guys traveled up the stage and started fighting. And the two guys in the ring are kind of resting. This is basically their rest spot. But that makes no sense because like you want to see them. I don't want to see these four guys, fighting each other for 5 minutes. Then
Right.
eventually,
They kind of canceled each other out so they could take each other out, basically.
yeah,
But I mean,
because
let's keep the match in the ring. Let's keep focus of that because I mean, again, if we want to watch those guys, the four guys that ended up coming out, I mean, there'd be a match for it, right?
yeah. So eventually, one of the masked lackeys went all the way up top of the stage and jumped off and made those guys down there catch him, including his own partner. By the way, got hit. So it's like the modern wrestling thing where you go up there, you jump from a ridiculous height, hit everybody, including your own partner, and you all knock each other out. Like that makes no sense. And then eventually, once that happened, they got back into the ring and the match continued. Eventually, there's more interference, which was from Pimpinela Scarletta, which is the homosexual dude, which we talked about before. And last time we reviewed a AAA show. And he nailed Chad Gable's character in the head. By the way, Chad Gable bled buckets in this match. Like
Yeah, I saw that. He was bleeding
yeah, he
everywhere.
bled buckets. I mean, he busted his ass in this match. I mean, to put over Kaiser's character. I mean, he was impressive to me. He was like he kind of reminded me, and I don't know what you think about this, but he kind of reminded me of kind of like Kurt Hennig a little bit. That style that he worked. They're both from Minnesota, so that makes
Oh,
sense. He worked that strong style, Roman Greco type of wrestling, if he were 6 inches taller, he'd probably be a main eventer in WWE, but he's too short. And I'm not sure if WWE takes him seriously or not as a main eventer.
And
But
that's
this after
the problem because I mean he's a total old school wrestler, but they want tall guys.
they want the 6-footer, like the Roman Reigns, basically, or Randy Orton. That's what they want. That's what they see as main eventer, not someone like Chad Gable.
Even though Kurt was not really main event. I mean, he was main event sometimes, but when it came right down to it, it was more Hogan, right? So they want people like Hogan who are like 6'7" in their boots.
We can get into the whole '89 thing, where it seemed like Kurt and Hogan, they were setting up for Kurt and Hogan, but Hogan nixed it. And it wouldn't be the first time he nixed Kurt's push.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit. The first thing I want to bring over, unless you have more for AAA.
The match was great for the reasons why I said it wasn't because of the action itself. Chad Gable led buckets. Kaiser is definitely over for that audience.
Yeah,
very impressive. I was impressed with
both. And now he takes the reins. So here we go. We have one Americano who is Kaiser, and now he can take it and run. I mean, he's super over in Mexico. So
they're ready.
Take it and run with it, boy. You got it's like a relay race. You got the baton. Now take it and run with it.
They're already talking about doing Kaiser against Americano versus Dominic Mysterio for the world title or mega championship, as they call it there.
Yes.
So they might just put that belt on him because Triple Mania is AAA's version of WrestleMania. So that's coming up in September, I think. So they're going to start that angle pretty soon with Americano and Dominic Mysterio. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm done done reviewing this show. So if you want to,
I can't wait to see what they have in store. I hope it's better what they have in store for Kaiser. I'd like to see Kaiser really dominate the main event now, but we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing I want to do, we didn't get a chance to do this last week, so
excuse me.
I'm kind of trying to catch up here. You could do that.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so for those who haven't heard or don't know, Joe or Curtis Axel got into a little bit of trouble here. Apparently, he was drunk. He was in a McDonald's parking lot, and he got arrested. It pains me to talk about this because I really don't want to talk about this, but we have to. It is our duty as pro wrestling people to talk about this. Now, Can you see those words? Because they may be a little small.
No, I'm about to say, yeah, so.
Okay. Can you see now? How's that?
A little better. Yeah, problem is with this, I don't know why, but I can't, because I used to be able to, where is it? It's a little better, but you make it a little bigger, it should be good. But there you go. Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay. So word is spreading today. We found this out on May 28th. Now this happened on May 17th. There we go.
I see it better now.
Okay. So this happened on May 17th. I don't know how much you guys know and how much our audience doesn't know. If you rewatch this, you come back to this and watch it. You don't watch it live, but you watch it in turn. Like I said, this brings me no pleasure because again, this is Joe Hennig. This is Kurt's son. So unfortunately, this is what we get. And you know what? At first, I thought, "Oh my God, that's Kurt." And I'm like, "Wait, that's not Kurt."
Yeah, you can tell that he had something to drink.
Well, and see, I
don't know.
He looked haggard. He doesn't know. I don't know, like what triggered it. Could it have been pressure? Is there something going on in his life? I mean, I'm not trying to stick up for him. I mean, he's not my son, but I mean,
yeah.
Kurt were here, I'm sure he would definitely stick up for his own son.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to explain to our audience is, again, I don't condone this behavior because again, there's a lot of people out there who have lost loved ones because people have been drunk behind the wheel and they have head-on collisions and people have passed away because of this. So this doesn't make me happy to report this, but it doesn't make me any less. We have to get the audience, we have to get this stuff out there. And so far, knock on wood, I have not heard any other person that I watch on wrestling news reports talk about this at all, because I'm not sure why they're not talking about it. Maybe they just don't want to talk about it. And again, I don't want to talk about it, but it's something that it needs to be said.
It seemed like he's out of wrestling, which is why they're or out of the mainstream wrestling, let's say, which is why they don't think it's important enough to cover it. I mean, I guess so. That could be it too.
That could be it. My thing is that I just, what would Kurt say about this if he were here with us? I'm sure he would say, Joe's been having a bad time. This is kind of not this specifically, but this is kind of patterns of how Kurt was towards the end. He was starting to use, cocaine again, and of course with painkillers, and his dad saying that he may have been on steroids. I don't know. Nobody will really ever know, but this is, and I hope that Joe doesn't turn into that, because Joe has so much to offer, and I'm sure his father would say, don't follow in my footsteps when it comes to this. Stand on your own 2 feet, and if you have something's going wrong in your life, or you're really stressed out, or whatever, take a step back and talk to someone about it. Talk to your wife, talk to a counselor, talk to a spiritual advisor. I'm sure that Joe is Christian, so talk to a priest or a pastor about this. But please don't repeat what your dad did. And again, I said on my show when I reported this that, again, I'm not sticking up for the behavior, because, if this was my son, though, I would go to, the woodshed with him and, defend him to the death. So, I mean, anyway, I'm going to read a little bit of this. I'm not going to go into too much. Word is spreading today, May 28th, that third generation pro wrestler Joe Hennig, he spelled it wrong. It's not Hennig, it's Hennig. No N. So one strike against you, MSN, who worked as NXT and the Nexus, Michael McGillicuddy. Awful name. They were talking about this.
It's awful.
Yeah. Something came up with Curtis Axel somewhere, and they said, "Oh, that was awful." Oh, I know what we're going to watch in a little bit. The Sean Mooney interview with Kurt. Even Sean Mooney was like, "Oh, I hated that. It was so awful." Anyway, they put him with Paul Heyman, guy, and B Team member Curtis Axel for WWE from 2007 to 2020 is facing several misdemeanor charges stemming from an incident at the Minnesota McDonald's drive-thru on May 17th. So this happened on May 17th. We didn't find out about it till May 28th. Okay.
Yeah, but usually the record when you get arrested doesn't go public immediately. It takes a few days, and then once it's part of public record, you can look it up and like, oh shit, Axel he was arrested. So
yeah,
that's when they start reporting.
Here they spelled it right, but up here they didn't spell it right.
Yeah, it was weird.
That made no sense. Okay, so the Watch Minnesota reports Hennig was charged with a DWI, which I don't remember what that stands for, but a DUI is like driving under the influence.
It says driving. It's driving while intoxicated.
While intoxicated,
the same thing. Yeah,
okay, it's basically the same thing. Yeah. So refusing to submit to a chemical test, obstructing the legal process, having an open bottle of alcohol in the car, and disorderly conduct.
Here's the thing with that: you don't have to do the the sobriety test, the field sobriety test. You don't have to do that. Right. But you're gonna get arrested. Right. And then you're gonna go down to the station and get a chemical test. You can't refuse that. Because if you do, you lose your license for a year. Or at least in most states, that's how it works.
Right.
And you refuse to do that. So,
but here's the other thing: like a crack shot lawyer could literally get him off on like maybe a misdemeanor or whatever. Yeah. Because literally, you do know your local rights, know your state right, and know your local rights. You do not have to submit to a sobriety test. In fact, you don't have to talk to the cops now. I almost said Kurt. Oh my God. Joe would actually cuss at the cops, but and then I don't know if it's this report or scored it. Okay, so they anyway, we're gonna get back to this. So, but know your local laws. Okay, you do not have to submit to a sobriety test. You do not have to talk to the cops. You can remain silent if you have the ability. Okay.
Most people don't, which is why
most people can't. Yeah, most people don't have the ability.
And it makes their job easy. Yeah, and they get arrested. They just it's called I call it self snitching. Like shut your mouth. I mean,
yeah, you have the right to remain silent.
Yeah, that's first thing they tell you.
And then shut up if you have the ability. So a police report obtained by the Watch Minnesota says officers sent to the McDonald's in St. Francis in response to a property damage caused by one vehicle backing into another in the drive-thru. Apparently, Joe accidentally backed up into someone and was yelling at them and yelling at McDonald's or whatever. When they arrived, they found the 46-year-old Hennig slowly walking the parking lot with bloodshot, watery eyes. The speech was allegedly slurred, and there was an open bottle of vodka in his vehicle. So from this report, when instructed to step out of the vehicle, Hennig reportedly refused. The one lawyer I watched says, get out of the car, and don't resist, because if you resist, then you're going to give the cops leeway to say, well, he was resisting arrest, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of do what they got to do. You know, if they tell you to step out of the car, just step out of the car, and don't resist. Don't give them any reason to take you down. But anyway, so refused. Officer subsequently opened the door, reached inside, turned off the engine. Now, this is against law. This part, the officer subsequently opened the door, reached inside, and turned off the engine. And I know in Pennsylvania, I don't know, I'm guessing Minnesota is kind of similar, but the officers reaching into your car is illegal, because if you don't give them, it would be like a stranger reaching into your car and turning off your engine, right? It's same thing with the cop. Yeah. So this is actually illegal. I'm telling you that a crack shot lawyer could literally just get him off just based on this fact.
Yeah, well,
the officers are not allowed to. This is private property, and you are not allowed to turn or reach into your hand into someone's car and touch anything in the car.
Yeah, that I can tell you what they're going to claim. They're going to claim since Joe Hennig was suspected of a crime, they can go in the car and search it and turn it off and stuff. That's what they're going to say. Doesn't mean it's true, but that's what they're going to say in court.
But the thing is, even if he was drunk, they still have to have probable cause. Now, yes, there probably was probable cause to do that, but you still have to get consent. And he reportedly refused, even if they just asked him to step out of the vehicle. So technically, this is against the law. But basically, the officers are in the wrong here. Okay. I'm not saying that they can't say, well, we were just trying to keep the peace or, everyone's safety in check, blah, blah, blah. They can say whatever they want, and they probably will get off on that. But this part of, they reached in they subsequently opened the door and reached inside. No, you can't do that. You can't do that, especially if they refuse to get out of the car. You can't just reach your hand in there and shut off the engine. You can't do that. So, and they placed the keys on the passenger seat. Again, you can't do that. That would be like a total complete stranger coming up to your car, putting their hand in your car, your private property, and shutting off the engine. They can't do that. So anyway, after continued defiance, officers physically removed Hennig from the truck, escorted him to the ground, and handcuffed him. See, it's a good thing that Joe was a wrestler, because they could have really messed him up. And it's always more than one cop. It's always like 3 on 1, 4 on 1. I don't like cops, guys. I will say that personally. And I know some of our audience, whatever your political spectrum is, that's fine. But I personally don't like cops, and I sure as heck wouldn't give a cop a reason to take me and bang my head into the ground. So, I mean, that part there where they literally physically removed him, as a mother, I would be literally kicking the shit out of those cops. because now you met Mama Bear. Now you're gonna pay the consequences. Anyway, while seated in the squad car, the officer read him the Minnesota breath test advisory. Hennig allegedly refused chemical testing and responded with profanities, which I would do too. You fucking pigs, including "I don't give a shit" and "fuck you, you fuck." I would have said worse.
Isn't it? Yeah. Wait, is that? No, I'm pretty sure that's a gay slur, but we're gonna leave it at that because fuck is like 4 letters. So,
Yeah.
so most likely is that at that gay slur that starts with an F. But
could have been you. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, that gay slur starts with an F. So it's up. Yeah. We're on YouTube. So, but go ahead.
During the investigation, a McDonald's employee reported that Hennig had been mumbling in the drive-thru before pulling forward, swearing at the staff, and backing into another vehicle. He then allegedly opened his door and yelled at the female driver, calling her a bitch and a pussy. I'm guessing. I'm guessing that is pussy. An inventory search of his vehicle, and don't consent to searches. Not willingly anyway, but once they have you in the squad car, technically they can search your vehicle. Prior to towing, yield a 750 milliliter open bottle of Phillips vodka on the front passenger side door.
That's a strong vodka, by the way. I'm just saying.
Hennig last worked for WWE in 2022 when he spent some time as part-time producer. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a part-time producer, agent, whatever they call it. They call it producer now, but it's an agent essentially.
Okay. He's only wrestled once since his release last year in a tag match for a local Minnesota indie. I saw that. He's also a husband and father of 3 whose own father, WWE Hall of Famer Curt Hennig, died of addiction, blah, blah, blah. Go fuck yourselves. Anyway, so had to report on it. It's not, again, this is not something I really wanted to talk about because it's I'm sure wherever Curt is, this would totally break his heart that his son would go off the rails, so to speak. And again, I don't like talking about this, but I mean, we have to as journalists. So before we get into our next little,
I don't know what led him to drink himself silly like that and do that. I mean, I could speculate. Problems at home, money problems. There's so many, those are the 2 most likely ones. Or it could be mental health. I mean, I hope not, but unfortunately, he's a wrestler for 15 years. You take a lot of bumps in your head. I mean, hopefully it's not, something in his head that's messed up. So he hasn't wrestled in only once in the last 6 years since he got fired from WWE. So whatever it is, it could be concussions, God forbid. It could be so many different things. Hopefully if he needs help, hopefully he finds it. Because, I mean, he has a wife and kids,
I mean, I'm a big fan of his father. I idolize his father. So if Joe would ever see this, maybe he will, maybe he won't. But Joe, I mean, if you need to reach out, talk to someone, hey, I'll listen. Tell me your problems. I'm a great listener. Trust me. And I'd love to have Joe on my show. I'd love to talk about old stories of his dad. Old ribs that his dad. I heard the one from his dad's documentary, which was Kurt farted and locked the window so that Joe couldn't put the window down. My dad ever does that. First of all, my dad doesn't have automatic windows, so he can't lock it. But if my dad ever did that to me, I would kill him. No. Joe always said that, Curt was his best friend. And yeah, I mean, if it was ever a time, I understand that this is a kid who lost his dad, and his dad, I idolized his dad, so I can't say that's an excuse. It's not an excuse for this behavior. But I'd like to think that this was just a dumb moment that Joe kind of had, and he was having troubles at home. Maybe him and Brooke had a fight or something, and he needed an outlet and figured he'd do it the quiet way. Well, it wasn't so quiet, was it?
That wasn't a good way to do it. Hopefully, if he has a good lawyer, maybe he'll get a misdemeanor conviction, probation, most likely it'll also be community service or something. Fines, not a big deal. If he has a good lawyer and get him off it. DWI is usually pretty serious, so they
Yeah,
take
I
that
mean, there
seriously.
could, and that's where I would kind of pull him aside and say, you know what, Joe, yeah, you screwed up, but it could have been worse. And I'm
Yeah.
glad it wasn't worse because you could have hurt someone and hurt someone real badly. Think of all those, and I'm sure if you gave him the lecture, he'd be like, I know, I screwed up. I know I did this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did it. It's over with, but let's move on. Let's not do this again. Let's not have this be a pattern. I don't think Joe is addicted. That's why I was kind of like, really, at the end there, I was like, really, you dumb fucks just want to find anything wrong, right? First of all, Kurt wasn't addicted. He just had an accident. It happens. His body just gave out. Kurt was younger than Joe is, but still, don't do that stuff. You don't know what's going on in these people's heads, and you don't know what was going through Kurt's. So stick that where the sun don't shine, because I mean, this is what I'm talking about. They always presume, but yet when you assume, you make an ass of you and me. So just stop.
Yeah. That's true.
So the last thing I have, sorry, bring it up. I wanted to kind of talk about, so there was a Sean Mooney
right, Sean Mooney.
that they did, right.
I forgot about him until I saw his face. Oh yeah, he worked for WWF back in early 90s.
He was there, when they would do not special works, but they would do special interviews so that he would go over the tapings, and we have a message from the flawless one, that kind of thing. Well,
yeah, right, yeah.
This interview is they're talking about Kurt, Mr. Perfect, and I did do some of this on my show. The second half of that will be in 2 weeks. Now, I did 145. Episode 145 will be coming out at the end of June. So you will not see this part until either you watch this or you go back and watch it. This episode of wrestling, wrestling talk, or you can wait till probably like the second week or third week in July. I'm thinking second week, because I did promise my audience that I would do a tribute to Rick Rude. I will do that next week. I promise. Yeah. And then in the next week after that, we will go to the second half of this interview. But I wanted to do this interview because here they talk about the backstage politics of Hulk Hogan and stuff. So, and the whole Kurt Hennig push that got squashed. So here we go. Take it away, Sean Mooney.
Yeah, and I think he credits a lot of his success in the WWE to his good friend. Fortunately, they didn't. They had a major falling out, and I don't think that ever really got mended. But I think at the time, I think that probably had something to do with it. I also, I can't help but wonder, what was, Kurt in the doghouse for something like that, or for a little punishment? I don't know, but it shocked a lot of people. I mean, I don't think anybody thought that was going to happen. But that was another thing they love to do too, Steve, is that they would like to do the unexpected. That you would once in a while just be able just to throw you off kilter, because everybody would you would think you'd follow what you'd expect storyline. Of course, if Mr. Perfect's going to go in there and he's this arrogant and he's undefeated, and you're going to let someone like Brutus the Barber Beefcake beat him.
Right, they're talking about WrestleMania 6 here. So they would supposedly what they'll talk about a little later is Mr. Perfect was supposed to win the Royal Rumble 1990. That didn't happen because of Hogan, and that whole 89 push was literally quashed. Right, it was literally quashed by Hogan, and even Sean Mooney was like, "Well, I mean, was Kurt in the doghouse or something?" I don't think it was that. I think it was Hogan literally thought he was better than everybody else. And I do, like I said, on on my show, I do think that Hogan was a little insecure because, and they talk about that too in this interview, that, Hogan literally thought that, people were going to replace him. And what happened in 1990, when after WrestleMania 6, when the Warrior had the belt, that's exactly what happened. The Warrior replaced him, but couldn't stand the hype. So Warrior fizzled out. Of course, he didn't have Rick Rude, who was also a big heel. Kurt was supposed to go after Hogan, but that never happened. So
yeah, it was Warrior fizzled out as champion for reasons we can. It takes too long to get into it, but ultimately Hulk came back and became champion again. So then he ran another year before he dropped it to somebody else. I don't remember exactly who right now, but yeah, I mean, Hulk was always, as long as he was there, to be the champion for the most part. And it happened at WrestleMania 9. Again, that pisses me off to this day when he screwed Bret out of the title because he needed to win the title.
So he was so insecure with himself, and he was so worried that other people were going to take his spot. Eventually they did, but I mean, he literally thought that Bret and Kurt were not in his league, and so he wasn't going to help push them. And that's what, that's why I got squashed. So a little more of this, and then we'll talk about it.
And I think they like to do that once in a while. And also it had something to do, maybe they had some plans down the road, but maybe they, for Brutus and Kurt to do something or bring the connection of Hulk into it. I don't know. But, that one was tough to swallow. I think a lot of people were like, really? Come on, what happened here? And they like, we're still talking about it. So I think that, in most cases, whatever Brutus was involved in, the Hulkster had a say in it.
And, because he had creative control. Sure and here's the thing, like with that whole thing, a lot of people were scratching their heads going, why would Mr. Perfect lose to Beefcake?
Brutus Beefcake.
Of all people to lose it to, only, for Brutus to have that kind of accident. And here's what I think happened. Like, the problem is that the first person to beat Mr. Perfect's record was literally the Ultimate Warrior, but no one knew that because that was only a taping of super tapes, and no one really got to see that unless you saw the super tape. So the first ever televised loss that Kurt had was literally WrestleMania 6 against Brutus Beefcake. And they had a little tit for tat, and there was Lanny in there with the hair cutting and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, they say at the beginning of this, they're not really sure why Lanny was with Kurt in the first place, because Kurt didn't need a manager. There's a reason why they stuck him with Bobby, and that's because Kurt had made it. If you were anyone in the WWE, if you were a heel and you made it as a heel, you got over as a heel, they would put you with Bobby Heenan. They did it with Rick Rude. They did it with Andre the Giant, with Haku, the Barbarian eventually. So if you were in that Bobby Heenan stable, then you made it as a heel. You could, sell the tickets. And there's no doubt about it that, people will still talk about it today, why Brutus had to take out Mr. Perfect's record. But, why couldn't they get Kurt to that level of, they already had those vignettes of him playing golf and him doing the swimming and him doing the horseshoes. That all was 89. So I'm not really sure why they said why. The only thing is the backstage politics. And even this guy, I put a comment under it, and I think it's this guy here, commented and said he had heard about the backstage politics of Hogan. And there's no doubt in his mind that Hogan literally used his leverage to say, sorry, Kurt, but you're not in my league. And that's not true. Hogan sucked. Around 1990, Hogan was getting stale. The Hulkamania thing was getting stale. And that's why, Warrior was Vince's new guy. So they brought in Warrior, and obviously Vince saw something. He saw him getting stale. Hogan, I'm talking about, and said, "Okay, Hogan, you're going to lose the belt to Warrior at WrestleMania 6, and Warrior can take it now with all his little warriors."
Vince knew that Hogan was getting stale, which is why they created the Ultimate Warrior for like
Right.
that 2-year period when he won the Intercontinental and then ran with that for over a year and a half. And then they set up the big match with Hogan, title for title at WrestleMania, which
Right.
Hogan lost. And, you know, he basically told Vince, it's not going to work. She got going to make me champion in a year anyway. So let's just, and Hogan was right. Unfortunately.
Hogan was right. But then where did that leave Kurt? You know, I mean, they had that thing where, and they're going to talk about that too, about the busted up title that Kurt busts up on a Saturday Night's Main Event with Lanny going, like, shut up, Lanny. That added no value to what Kurt was doing. But anyway,
no, Lanny was with. My theory is Lanny needed to do something on TV because he's Randy Savage's brother. So it's like,
yes, yeah, they had nothing for him to do. So hey, Kurt, you babysit Lanny.
Yeah.
And Kurt has no malice towards Lanny. He loved Lanny. He loved Randy. So I mean, there was no. If you hear Sean Mooney and others talk about Kurt loved to laugh. He loved to joke around. He loved to mess around. He was that kind of a guy that he was a nice guy outside the ring. He wasn't, full of himself, or he wouldn't talk to you if certain people were around. No, he'd come over and he'd joke around with you, right? So, and I said on my show when they were talking about that those bloopers that they showed of him, like he's at the dartboard going, I think I'd get lucky once. Because he couldn't throw the dart into the board. It was so close, but he just kept missing. And then I kind of joke back with him. Oh, you're supposed to, what the bowling one. I love the bowling blooper because he goes, anyone got any pointers? I'd be like, yeah, hit the pins. He'd be like smart ass or smart Alec or something like that. But the man himself was just a larger than life guy. And I just think that it was Hogan's backstage politics that ruined it for him in the WWE, and eventually in WCW would ruin it for the West Texas Rednecks. All right, so a little bit more of this, and then I think we have to say goodbye.
And help push him. But, that wasn't unusual across the board. It's just where you fell on the card. Randy had a lot of influence too. So, Lanny got a lot of opportunities. To do things that, we've talked before. Lanny was good in the ring. I mean, I think he was a popo. They came up, but he wasn't that. For whatever reason, didn't have that marquee, that charisma that was going to put him at a higher level. And it always helped to have a brother who was in that position. So that wasn't crazy to think that the Hulkster wouldn't have had some influence. He had a lot of influence on what happened. In the company.
I'm glad you said that, because my first evidence here for people who don't believe me with that question is we go back to the Royal Rumble in 1990. The rumor is that Mr. Perfect's supposed to win this Royal Rumble. Hulk Hogan, though, Hogan must pose. So Hogan is the one who ends up winning the 1990 Royal Rumble instead, tossing out Perfect, which then leads to Perfect losing to Beefcake, which is Hogan's friend.
That doesn't work for me.
So in reality,
and I'd like to say really quick that it seems like in every Royal Rumble, it's Hogan throwing out Kurt. In the in the 89 Royal Rumble, after like 20 minutes plus, Hogan comes in and throws out Kurt. In 1990, Hogan throws out Kurt. I think in 91, Hogan also throws out Kurt. So it's literally like Hogan literally said, I just want to throw out Mr. Perfect. I want to be the one to throw Mr. Perfect out of the ring. So this comes down to the fact that, yes, Hogan had Vince's ear, and Hogan being insecure and being the person who has to always be in the spotlight, literally said, Vince, that guy's not in my league, and I don't want to wrestle him. Even though if you go watch those matches with him and Hogan, he is literally jumping around, taking all these crazy ass bumps, and that was Kurt. Kurt made the babyface look like $1 million.
And what amazes, I said this before, I'm surprised Hogan didn't say, "God damn, Kurt would make him look like $1,000,000." As long as I beat him, I'm fine with working with him, because he made me look good every time I worked with him. So, but Hogan, I don't know, maybe Vince really thought about putting the belt on him. That's why Hogan became really jealous and buried him basically. So maybe Vince thought he put the belt on him. I mean, I'm speculating there, but
And that's not a rumor in 1990 that Kurt was supposed to win. Kurt was supposed to win, maybe not 89 Royal Rumble, but he was supposed to win in some kind of Rumble and then challenge the champion for the belt, who in 1990 would have been, it would have been Slaughter. Because remember, at the 1990 Royal Rumble, Royal Rumble,
it would have been Slaughter, yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that was 91. Wasn't it?
Who's champion 90? No,
it was Warrior. Oh,
no,
it was,
90 would have been Hogan Warrior. So there's no way it would have happened then.
So Hogan was already the champion. Why the hell is he in the Royal Rumble in the first place?
Yeah, it was an ego thing. He had to win everything. So he's in the Rumble, he's going to win it, So
and he won the Royal Rumble 2 years in a row.
92 was rare. 92 was rare. Hogan actually lost that Rumble, and Ric Flair became champion. But well, see, and that's where, again, in 1990, Hulkamania was the shits. It literally was. People stopped believing in the demandments and the saying your prayers and eating your vitamins, and it was waning.
It was lame. So
it
what
was
did
waning.
They built up the Ultimate Warrior. They saw that the fans loved the Ultimate Warrior, and they were popping for the Warrior. So of course he wants to make Warrior the champion. But the thing is, what they failed to realize, okay, so you make Warrior the champion and he's the shits. He gets blown up, within 2 seconds of going out there and wrestling, right? And he really only knew 3 moves. Yeah. You can ask Rick Rude about this. Well, you can't anymore, but I mean, you could have asked Rick Rude about that because Rick didn't like it either, He kept potatoing him, he kept potatoing Ric Rude.
Rick Rude. He potatoed Andre.
He potatoed Andre, and Andre looked at, and he stuck his hand out, and Warrior hit his fist, and he kind of went, ugh.
And Warrior was done. Warrior, after that, he's like, ding, he protected.
He's learning.
He slowed down a lot. So,
and all this comes down to is it's not the first time that Hogan. Well, it would be the first time it would be the only time in the WWF that this happened, but it also would come down to, where Mr. Perfect would go to WCW as Curt Hennig, as himself. And then, under his name, it was a character that he created of Curt Hennig in that sort of way. But here's the big thing, though. It's literally, not, it will be the first time, but it won't be the last time that Hogan literally takes out, something that Kurt did. Because, I mean, even Kurt admitted in an interview, someone with blonde hair said, how am I supposed to follow that brother? I mean, we all knew it was fucking Hogan.
Doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah, he doesn't have to. Kurt doesn't have to elaborate any more than that. Yeah. It just, blonde the fact hair. That he said blonde hair and brother,
Yeah.
Reality.
So here we go.
Is the idea that fans wanted Perfect to win the Royal Rumble and not Hulk Hogan?
Yes.
Or is this just people looking too deep into things because Hogan is the Royal Rumble isn't something like where you get a championship match. Hogan is the world champion. No. We're in the height of Hulk Hogan. We're in the Hulkamania. Like it's stupid to think anyone else would win besides Hogan at this point in time.
No, it was waning by 90. And
he said it was at the height. It wasn't.
No, he wasn't at the hype. He was in the hype in like 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, maybe.
I played 85, 86.
Yeah, but by 90, Andre. People were freaking tired of it, Yeah. They were tired of the Real American. They were tired of Hogan.
And by 92, he would get embroiled in that steroid scandal with Vince, in that trial.
So even Vince was
94. I had 94. Sorry, yeah.
That little gleam in Vince's eye, Hogan was his boy, but then he kind of lost it when he kind of ratted out, Vince during that trial. So, and here's the thing, guys. I'm not trying to rap on Hogan or anything. I'm just trying to tell everyone that these are not rumors. These actually happened because, you know, I've done my research, and that eventually they will go and talk about the belt that, like I said, that Mr. Perfect destroyed. There's a rumor that was a hardcore belt. Yes, that's just a rumor. I actually looked this up, and there is a guy that actually has the belt that Kurt busted up, and he actually shows you the belt. He's like, this is not the hardcore belt that they gave to Mick Foley. I have the belt that Mr. Perfect destroyed. So you can look that up on YouTube if you don't believe me or whatever. But yeah, this guy will show you the belt and say, I have the belt that Mr. Perfect destroyed. When that sorry, go ahead. When that storyline came out.
We're talking over each other. Hold on, real quick. That was the urban legend for years that, you know, that was the belt that Kurt Hennig destroyed, the hardcore belt, but it wasn't. Right?
No, it wasn't. And so that storyline in '89 where he destroys the belt and Hogan wanted, perfect defeat or whatever Hogan said during that stupid interview. I was only half paying attention to it. The thing is, when they get down to it, when you get down to the nitty gritty, that it just the storyline just kind of went away, right? It kind of went away, and then it was Warrior and Hogan. So here we go with the backstage politics and the fact that Kurt was in the middle of it. What I think they could have done here, and they probably, I'm guessing Sean Mooney would probably agree with me, and the Steve guy too. What I think should have happened is when Warrior lost the belt to Slaughter, they could have had Mr. Perfect step up and say, you know what? I don't like this. I don't like these Iraqi sympathizers. I'm going to stand up for the men and women of America, and he was from Minnesota. He was an average, the boy next door, the boy American hero. They could have made him into that, and they could have had promos of, I'm going to take care of Slaughter perfectly. I'm going to defeat the Iraqi sympathizer perfectly. And our boys and the American people are behind me, something like that. Yeah,
that could have. The issue was at the time, and I think it was 90 or 91, and whatever that WrestleMania was. It's supposed to be in the LA Coliseum.
Yeah, 91.
It's supposed to be in the LA Coliseum, but it never happened because allegedly it was, threats on Slaughter's life, but really the tickets weren't going because initially it's supposed to be Hogan Warrior 2, and Hogan, of course, supposed to get his win back, which never happened because Warrior, allegedly Savage, knocked him out for real, and Slaughter won the belt accidentally. So it buried the whole angle.
Right. Well, what happened was Warrior broke Randy's wrist. And so when you see Savage come out with the scepter and Sherry, he actually Colcocks him with the scepter and literally, I mean, there's an interview with Bobby, who is his real name. Easton, I think is his last name, but it's Sergeant Slaughter. He said there was still in Warrior's hair. He could see the glass in Warrior's hair from the scepter that Savage totally cocked him with. So, I mean, don't mess with the Macho Man. I sure as heck wouldn't break his wrist. But,
Slaughter thought that Warrior would kick out. It's like 1, 2, 3.
3, yeah. He's like, you can see Slaughter's face like, wait, what?
Wait, what?
I just won the belt? What?
You notice it took like 3 to 5 seconds for his music to play because they needed to cue it up. Yeah. Because, it wasn't supposed to happen.
So a little bit more of this, but yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but like you said, it wasn't like there's so much on the line in something like that. But it's a great opportunity to put one of your people over. And Kurt, I don't remember what he entered in. I think he was in there for a long time, wasn't there? Was
that was 89.
I can't remember.
He was in there for over 20 minutes.
Honestly, entered number 30.
Number 30. Yeah.
Okay, so it was later.
Yeah, he's 91. He does that.
But they might be confused. I don't know which Rumble it is.
It was an opportunity, I think, to put him over more, and
well, that didn't work, did it?
For whatever reason, the Hulkster has to win it. I don't know if he squashed that idea because originally they were going to put Kurt over. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what it came down to with that, but you can rest assured that the Hulk would have had to sign off on it for it to happen. So to say that he didn't have influence and it was all a Vince decision, I doubt it.
Yeah, see.
Well, it's crazy because they do.
That's why I'm saying it wasn't Vince, really. So I'm going to stop sharing there because
it was on Hulk.
It was all Hulk, yeah. It was all Hogan being insecure and being butthurt because Kurt was better than him. Brett was better than him. And he didn't want anyone else to take his spot. And I can't sympathize with Hogan because I think Hogan sucks and I never liked Hogan. So I was always a Mr. Perfect fan. I would cheer Mr. Perfect and boo everybody else.
Yeah, it seemed like Vince was committed to a Kurt Hennig push, which is why, because he's supposed to win this, he's supposed to do that in 89, then 90 again, nothing supposed to happen. But of course, Hulk puts the kibosh to it over and over again.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
And that's good.
And Bret said it himself in the book. If you read Bret Hart's book or you listen to it on audible.com, I really do recommend that you do that.
It's a great book. It's a great book.
It's a great book. And even Bret admits he was getting Kurt ready for Hogan in 89. That's why they had those 89 matches.
Which Kurt he put over Kurt every night for a while.
He put over Kurt every night. And even though a lot of those matches ended in draws, thanks to Kurt, because Kurt was like, "No, man, I don't want him to beat me, but I don't want to beat him either, man. He's such a great wrestler."
Yeah, I'm not going to
They're
beat
both second generation. And Bret has never. He talks about Kurt with such affection, and this is why I have to respect and give it to Bret Hart because, hey, D, what's up?
Thank you, D.
I have to give it to Bret that. He admitted in his book, and he doesn't lie. Bret does not lie. He is not a bitter liar.
No,
it was Hogan that was making up the lies. Hogan was doing that, not Bret.
Yeah, it's like
fuck
you. Exactly.
Hogan's not.
Oh, we love you,
Netflix. The one that aired on Netflix. I mean, Bret Hart appeared, and of course, he's his honest self. He kind of buried Hogan there during the documentary, even though he passed away, but you don't care.
I mean, I would too. Go Bret, But again, in Bret's book, and again, please read it. It's a great book. He does nothing but thank and have such gratitude towards Kurt, even at their match at SummerSlam 1991, which in that interview with Sean Mooney, if you want to check it out, oh crap, I forgot what it was now, but it's like something, interview with Sean Mooney or according to Sean Mooney or something. Check it out. You can just look up Sean Mooney and I'm sure you'll find it. In that interview, they talk about that, where that match, where Bret called Kurt and was like, I mean, are you going to make SummerSlam? Are you going to be okay to do SummerSlam? Because I know your back's really messed up. And it really was. It really was. He was just weeks from surgery, Kurt was. And he still had to come back for this match. And he's like, I had the host there, Steve, he said, I've had my back go out. And it hurts to even take a step. He said, I can't even imagine what kind of pain Mr. Perfect was in for that match. But yet he gave Bret and those fans 110% with a hurt back. He was having back spasms. Now he was heavily medicated, but I mean, I would be too. I mean, I don't like pain anywhere. And when it's that time of the month and I have really bad girly stuff, I mean, I take 3 Tylenols just to do that.
Back pain is devastating. It's devastating. I mean, I can't imagine. To your body, to your mind is like, actually those spasms.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Kudos to Kurt for doing that. And he literally is taking bumps in the ring while all that's happening and his back is completely shot. So again, going into this, you don't know any of that stuff. You watch that match, it's a great match. But when you start to Kurt's back was shot. I mean, he was weeks from surgery and he still performed so well up to the standards of Bret and that audience. And literally won the show. Him and Bret stole the show. That was the best match on the card.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you think about it, you can't help but like, oh my God, Kurt's a tough dude. I mean, he really is. He's a tough guy who, scramped and saved, and he really worked hard. And I mean, it happened the way it happened, but we love you, Kurt.
Yeah.
So I mean, but in Brett's book, he even admits that literally he was getting Kurt ready for Hogan. So that's why they had such great matches in '89. That's what my point was going to be. And then I got to SummerSlam 91, but sidetracked. So Brett is the hero of '89 for because he.
I think I lost you. I can't hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. All right. Somehow it muted myself.
Okay, there you go. I lost you, I think. Yeah.
So anyway, when you hear Brett say, "Yeah, I was getting Kurt ready for Hogan," there was that push. Brett would not lie about that. So there was a push. That's not a rumor. That is not an urban legend. That was true. Because if Brett is saying it, then yes, it was true. So there was a push in the works for Kurt, and it got squashed by Hogan because Hogan was insecure and a bastard.
The only way I could see him squashing it is if he's supposed to put Kurt over for the title. That's the way he's squashing it. Because he's supposed to win, then I don't think he had a problem with working with Hennig. But I think
and they had great matches together. I mean, if you look at the matches, Kurt is bouncing all over for Hogan.
Yeah.
So there's not a problem there. But yeah, I think that Vince said, "Well, I'm going to make Kurt champion,"
and that's
Hogan
when
said,
Hulk was like,
"Go ahead and play your sound thing."
Oh, then I gotta cue it up because it's all the way down here.
It doesn't work for me, brother.
Right. That's what Hogan said
Vince wanted
to
to
Vince.
put the belt on him.
And that's sad because Kurt would have been an amazing champion.
I wish Vince would talk about this. He never will because he's an old school promoter. But I wish he did a little bit during that Netflix thing. But I wanted to get into what happened here and everything, every backstage machinations and politics from his point of view. But he never will do that unless he writes a book about it. But he doesn't need the money, so I don't know. So I think Vince will take those secrets to his grave.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we don't know what Vince was thinking. And Hogan did take those things to the grave, but then you couldn't believe a damn word that came out of Hogan's mouth because the dude lied so much he didn't even know what was real anymore.
Hogan lied about everything, and in fact, during his last Netflix interview before he passed away, he lied about a bunch of stuff there too.
Yeah,
I think Cornette made a video about it. Everybody made a video about it.
And people were like, "No, that never happened. That never happened. That never happened." So, yeah, I mean, even if you could get Hogan to talk about it, he would probably put himself over and he would lie about it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was doing Kurt a favor, and Kurt was okay with it. No, I'm sure Kurt. If you look at Kurt's eyes in 1990 and any of those promos that he did in 1990, you could see it in Kurt's eyes. He was pissed. He was pissed that Hogan squashed his push.
Yeah. Politics. Hulk was the master of it. And honestly, Triple H and Shawn Michaels were the master of it too, going into the mid to late 90s there. So, Triple H married Vince's daughter. So he's a master politician there. Married now he's the booker to this day. So it's the only reason why he got that job because he married Stephanie.
Yeah, I mean, any fucking fool can do that. Sorry, I know we're not supposed to swear on this, but any stupid fool can do that.
On top of that, he's not. Anyway, again, we can get over it. I mean, I don't know how much Triple H is actually booking these shows. Might be TKO's responsible.
Right, TKO, I think, is having a laugh because honestly, I honestly think this is all TKO. This crap that they're calling good wrestling is all TKO because they don't know anything about wrestling. And what they're promoting is just other shit.
They admitted it is we have final say over all creative, but we never use it. Total lie. They use it all the time.
Bullshit. You use it all the time.
They overrule Triple H quite regularly because a lot of this shit's bad. And when Hunter is actually booking without interference, the shows were better. I mean, now all of a sudden they're terrible, and I'm like, either Hunter's lost his mind and lost his touch, or this is TKO.
Yeah, it's
most likely it's TKO.
It has to be TKO. And I don't even like Triple H. Yeah, I don't like Triple H, but this doesn't seem like Triple H. Because Triple H was a wrestler. He knows how the wrestlers
Yeah, he
are.
understood. Unfortunately, he has no power. He's just an employee there now because he used to have power when Vince ran it, but once he sold it, he's just
Right.
an employee basically.
Yep.
And The Rock has more power than he does. Ron, he's on the board, so
Whenever he's freaking there, yeah.
yeah. So
and not in
yeah,
Hollywood
I mean,
making movies or something.
ironically, people are putting over the Undertaker as a better booker because of what happened in AAA. But I'm like, yeah, I mean, the reason why he's so good because TKO's not interfering because they don't care about AAA. So it's like,
Yeah, they don't give a crap.
I don't know why they bought the company. They really don't care about it, obviously. That's why it's so good, the shows, because TKO's not interfering in the shit. But if they see the ratings go up and they see money, is like they're gonna interfere. So
Yeah, they're gonna start interfering. So maybe they shouldn't do so well.
yeah. So yeah, it's 10 o'clock, so we need to start, wrapping this up this week. When is the next pay-per-view? Because I was gonna say we'll be back next Saturday, but I don't know.
I think you said the 20th.
It could,
King
yeah,
of the
most
Ring,
likely it
20th?
is. Night of Champions. So let me check this.
Oh,
I don't want to.
Is it King of the Ring or Night of Champions?
No, the King of the Ring tournament's taking place at Night of Champions.
Okay.
So June 27th, it says here, which is that a Sunday?
I think that's
Don't tell me good on a Sunday. I don't know.
It's a Saturday.
27th. Okay, it's the last Saturday. Okay, so we should be able to come back next week then. Okay, good. Because Alex, our last show was over a month ago, honestly. So one reason,
and I feel bad, but I had to get that in, little brother.
Yeah,
I apologize. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about because we weren't on last week, and I didn't get to talk about Joe Hennig. And then I literally saw that Sean Mooney thing like a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, I got to get this on the show, my show, somebody's show. I got to talk about it because. I mean, it bears repeating, and I could see how people were like, "Oh, well, this is a rumor, that's a rumor." No, actually, it was true. It was true that Hogan crushed his push, and crushed the West Texas Rednecks too. They could have been very, very popular, and they were starting to get popular. And of course, Hogan had to put his 2 cents in. Well, that doesn't work for me, brother, and he screwed it again.
Yeah. So, let's see. So we'll be back next week, hopefully. If health holds up and, something doesn't pop up, because last week I was going to do the show, but my throat, and I still, honestly, my throat's not in good shape. I got a doctor's appointment Monday, see what the hell's going on. But all my other symptoms are gone, except for this cough that won't go away. I've been coughing nearly 2 weeks. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm not sure if I injured my throat somehow, or how that would have happened, or it's just a cold that just won't go away. I don't know, because I have no other symptoms except for this cough. So, yeah, hopefully by Monday I at least figure out what's going on or get some tests or something. So, yeah, maybe I expect to be back on Friday for Angel in the afternoon, 7 o'clock Eastern. Pro Wrestling Talk is Saturday, 8. We're going to be back. We'll be, I don't know.
We'll have clips again. We will have clips again. I wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah, of course. I don't know what we're going to be discussing because I have very little interest in WWE product right now. Before I forget, I wanted to bring this up, but Mick Foley, fucking, he signed with AEW, right? I mean, I'm sure you heard about this. He debuted at the last pay-per-view as a
I did,
announcer or whatever. He was in the pre-show. Anyways, apparently the real, Mick Foley talked crap about how WWE is pro-Trump and I hate Trump, so I'm leaving. I'm going to AEW. Even though it turns out Shad Khan donated to Trump. But whatever, he's a hypocrite. But that's not the real reason why he left. The real reason why he left, because he told WWE executives he wanted to do one more match. And they laughed at him, like, oh, yeah, Mick, whatever. Well, that's not going to happen, right? You're bullshitting, right? And it's like, no, I'm serious. And it's like, fuck, we can't put you back in the ring. You can die.
Yeah, you're a
and of course, guess what? He signs with AEW, and apparently he's going to do one more match for them. And Tony Khan's agreed to book him one more match.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God. That's why it's like, really? Like, Tony's a liability. If he dies in that ring, then you're going to be on the hook.
Yeah, you're going to be on the hook. Yeah. Unless he signs some kind of paper that doesn't hold AEW
some kind of
accountable.
Waiver. Yeah. Some kind of waiver. Yeah, that's the only way you put him in the ring. But even then, You got to worry about the man's health. He's 59 years old, and
Tony Khan doesn't give a crap about anybody.
yeah, it's like really.
Wow.
Maybe
he wants to die in the ring. Maybe that's his thing.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Ric
He
Flair
wants
said
to do
something
it,
similar.
I guess. Go for it. But
Ric Flair said something similar. Like an honorable death for a wrestler is dying in the ring. So it's like, dude, there's something wrong with you.
yeah, there's definitely something wrong with you. I mean, what about your family? Of course, this is from Ric Flair, who wants to literally sue his own son.
Oh yeah, that's something we didn't bring up either. But maybe you can bring that up next week. I don't know what the context is behind that. I never looked into it. So.
I know the context behind it, and yeah, we'll watch a video about it because I think James Romaro talked about it.
Yeah,
and
we can probably react to that.
But wow, I mean, it just I reacted on it my show last week about it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, so because I'm not sure I'm going to talk about anything in next week about modern wrestling because it's just awful. Especially AEW is awful, WWE is awful. So it's like, do I really want to talk about modern wrestling next week? It's brutal. But yeah, so we'll be here talking about something next Saturday. I don't know what it is yet. Probably reacting to Flair. Maybe talk more about Mick Foley losing his mind. He already lost his mind, but he lost his mind decades ago.
He lost his mind a long time ago.
Yeah, decades ago.
Off that cage, he was thrown off the cage.
Yeah. So we'll do that and more. Angel in the Afternoons, Friday at 7. We'll talk about, I'm sure, Donald Trump and his continued war in Iran, and maybe more Grand Platinum, more allegations come out, which we talked about yesterday. I assume there's more coming out because this guy is like degenerate. So I'm pretty surprised there's more sexual stuff out there. He's actually talking to minors, but I'm speculating there. We'll see what happens, but that and so much more. Make sure
I gotta get going. My son's going to bed. So
okay, yeah, I'm about to wrap up anyway. So thank you very much for watching. Have a nice week.